Hi, my name is Rob Nichols, and I'm a volunteer here at York River State Park. I want to welcome you all to our fall foliage leaf-along hike today along our Beaver Trail, where we will be exploring some of Virginia's native tree species. This walk will take approximately 1 to 2 hours to complete, and it is around 1 mile in length. And it's also a loop, so we will begin and end right here in this location. If you need to use the restroom before we begin, our visitor center is located just behind us there if you need to. And during this hike, we are going to be looking at 10 different native Virginia trees. We'll be looking at identification by leaves, by acorns, by bark, by pine cones or needles during this time. So I've given you all a little clipboard with some paper and a pencil. And you'll also notice that you have leaves to go with it as well. These are leaves from your particular tree that you've been given. So feel free to write down your observations or questions or things that you see during this time. As we're walking, it's rained a lot. There's a lot of slippery leaves on the walk. There's a lot of puddles. So good sturdy shoes are essential. We'll be descending down from a higher elevation briefly to a lower freshwater creek. So that is another reason why we want to have those on your hike. So these leaves are an invitation to experience the generosity and giving of the natural community here during this fall season of change. And they're calling on you to join them. Fall is a time of seasonal change and seasonal traditions, not just in our own homes, but also out here in the forest. As we were walking, I asked you what you associate most closely with fall, and many of you said football. You said warm meals, gathering together with family and friends, cooler temperatures, warm clothing. And many of these things, like putting leaves and acorns on your kitschy plates or dish towels, may reflect even a subconscious desire to bring nature home. Or the same may be said of going outdoors, may reflect this desire that we have as humans to get closer to nature, to return to that nature community. But I want to show you something really amazing here. Have you ever thought about, for all the hayrack rides and football games you go on, what's happening in the forest world during this time of change? What you find is something incredible. That there is an interconnected community here. You might even call it a family or an ecosystem undergoing its own fall changes and its own traditions, shaped by the land, by the climate, by the geology, by time. Take, for example, this white oak here. This is one of our Virginia native trees. And it's the mature trees like this oak that help to create and sustain a forest community here. You can identify an oak tree most easily by its leaves, the way that the leaves are shaped and their placement along the stem. So if you look at an oak leaf, you'll see that it has about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, up to 7 lobes or projections coming off from its leaf. It consists of one leaf, so it's a simple leaf that attaches directly to the woody stem here. And we would call it a pinnate leaf. Pinnate meaning that it has one central vein and all the other smaller veins project out from it. So leaves are often the easiest way to identify a tree. Bark is another. If you don't have the leaves, as these will be gone soon in a few weeks, this has a nice shaggy bark. That is a dead giveaway that this is an oak tree here. The other aspect are its reproduction patterns. Now, trees don't have a brain, but if they did, we might say that their major objective is to grow as big and as tall as possible, and to reproduce, in this case through seeds contained in acorns, to reproduce and perpetuate its species. So when oaks do this, they're not only trying to perpetuate themselves, but they're feeding and nourishing the forest community. Did you know that the diet of deer, 25% of it comes from eating acorns, and the same goes for squirrels and other small wildlife here in the park? And in fact, blue jays can help not only by using these as food, but they aid in the dispersal of oak tree seeds, because blue jays have developed the ability to hold up to 5 acorns in their mouth. And inadvertently, when they fly away, one is going to fall out, and out plops an oak tree. So it's the mature trees, as we've been saying, that are perpetuating this. So think about this. If you had a family member at a gathering like Thanksgiving or Halloween, who would that and they were an oak, what family member would that be? Would that be the host of the party who prepares all of those favorite meals? I would think so. That this is, in many ways, what an oak tree is doing. During the summer, it's providing canopy for wildlife. During the fall, it's providing a food source, like acorns, for the surrounding forest community as well. We've been talking about how large, mature trees make so many of our images and experiences of fall possible because they help feed both us and the forest community alike. Let's take a look at another tree in which we can explore some other leafy mysteries. This is a northern red oak tree, one of our native trees in Virginia. And like an oak, its leaves resemble those of the white oak, but you might see some noticeable differences. For instead of the smooth lobes or projections, you're going to have sharp, pointy ones with bristles at the end. But like a white oak, it's a simple leaf where it attaches directly to the woody stem. It's pinnate in that there's a central vein and the smaller veins all branch off from it. And it's an alternate leaf, meaning along the stem, it's on one side, down lower on the other. But the pointy things are what often distinguishes it. The other major thing is the bark. If you look up the trunk of the tree, you'll see what many people call ski trails, where you'll have these flat parts of the tree that often look white. That is a dead giveaway that this is a northern red oak tree. So let's use this northern red oak to talk about leaf color, why many of us are here today. During the normal part of the year, the leaf looks green like this because it contains chlorophyll. And it is up in the canopy using the light's rays to capture the energy of the sun through a process called photosynthesis, and it converts it into sugars, which then flow down through the tree. With cooler days and shorter days and cooler nights, the tree starts to prepare for dormancy. And so here we have the chlorophyll in the leaf starting to break down, and the tree seals off the leaf from the tree, denying it nutrients. So it starts to become more brittle, but it shows many of its true colors in oranges and browns and reds that we all come to associate with fall here. By the end of this transformation, the leaf is brown and will fall away from the tree. But that's not the end of the leaf's journey. When it falls to the forest floor, the leaf will be, over time, recycled by other microorganisms in the soil that will help to break it down and create new soil that can then be used as nutrients for the tree. So this is what I mean when I say that we have a series of interdependent partnerships going on in the forest where the trees are sharing their light, converting powers, they're sharing their shade, their acorns, but they're also sharing their leaves that become food for others. So in visiting the forest this fall, we can experience the boundless generosity of the natural world, particularly in the life-giving and community-sustaining activities of our native oak species. Their leaves are inviting us to partake in this dance of dazzling colors. And these values that we can get from them, like generosity, perhaps can even reinvigorate some of the deepest traditions that we have in our own lives. I want to thank you for coming on this talk today. The walk is over. You are free to depart and explore other parts of York River State Park. As we return to the Visitor Center, I'll be open for questions if you have any lingering from the talk today. If you're interested in learning about more native trees of Virginia, please consider visiting the gift shop where you can purchase a guidebook to the native trees here and learn more about them. Please also look at our website where you can find other programs that explore some of the natural and cultural history of this place. Thank you again for coming.